Hi. Today for my impromptu speech, I'm going to talk about my time working as a counselor at YMCA Camp Chingachgook. YMCA Camp Chingachgook is located in Lake George, New York, upstate. It's on Lake George. It was a super fun camp that I got to go to as a kid. My first year was back in 2011 as a camper. I fell in love with it, and I stayed for another 6 years. I was a camper for a total of 3 years. I was a CIT for 1 year. I was assistant counselor for 1 year, and then a counselor for 1 year. I love Camp Chingachgook so much. It means so much to me. I spent so much of my life there, all my summers there. It's a sleepaway camp, so you can choose between 2-week sessions or 1-week sessions, and you get to stay in cabins with a group of girls, and it's a co-ed, so girls and guys, and it ranges from ages 8 or 7, I think even, 7 to 13. Then once you turn 14, you're able to apply to be a CIT, counselor in training, and then from there you can get rehired back to be an assistant counselor and a counselor. So I've really enjoyed it there. Camp Chingachgook itself is so unique. It's on Lake George, which is really great. Not many camps can you say that are on a lake, and such a beautiful lake too. It's like the third cleanest lake in New York. It's just beautiful, very busy. It's huge. We have a lot of privacy down there, which is really nice. But we're all still very connected with the community of the camp itself. It's also one of the last camps to have wilderness excursions, like a hike. So part of the 2-week sessions is that the campers get to go on a 3-day excursion into the wilderness. So the counselors get to take like a small amount of kids into the woods, and they camp out there in tents and make food and hike big mountains and everything. For those of you who don't know, up in upstate New York and around Lake George are the Adirondacks, and there's 46 high peaks and just all these mountains. It's so great and so unique to be able to go out into the wilderness and just get to make this relationship between yourself and nature. It's a very unique experience, and it's something that really attracted me to the camp itself. A little scary as a camper sometimes, but I've definitely, from being a camper to being a counselor, I found a real love for it. So lastly, something that makes it so unique is the diversity at the camp. So it is a YMCA camp, so it's a Catholic camp, or a Christian camp, but there are counselors and campers from all different nationalities and religions. We have a really strong international program at the camp, which is great. So as a camper, I got to meet kids from Spain and Belgium and Britain and all that, and same with as a camp counselor, and I made great friends there. So me as a counselor, what I did a little bit there was I was a counselor for the junior girls unit, which is the young girls. I specifically liked working with the youngest, so between 7 and 8 years old. They were so adorable, just so full of energy, so fun. Some of them were nervous and didn't like being away from their parents. Some of them had no fear and just completely embraced the experience. But either way, it was really fun to get to be such a big influence on them, because they really just admire and care about everything that you do and appreciate you so much. There were 5 skill classes that each kid had a day, and so there are different like majors and minors for the counselors who taught skill classes. I was an athletic specialist, so I did things like I taught softball and soccer, junior sports zone, which is just a bunch of different things. And then I was also a sailing and water skiing minor. So that comes back to the idea that Camp Chingachgook is just so unique in itself, was that I got to learn and teach sailing and water skiing at Camp Chingachgook. I would never in my whole life had ever gotten another experience to like learn skills like that. And sailing, something that I've definitely learned to love so much. So those are some things that have been really special to me. And then because I worked as a junior girls counselor, they liked to when we did excursions, I got to lead a lot of senior girl excursions, so older kids, so they were a little bit harder. The biggest hike I've done is Tongue Mountain. It was just a really hard, long hike, constant moving all 3 days. So we didn't have one like base for camp. We had to pick up and move every single day. And then Black Beauty, which is another just beautiful at the top of the mountain, is just gorgeous view of Lake George. And Trail Maintenance, which I thought was really fun. So it was kind of like a project that we got to go out to different trails and kind of clean them up so that more people could use them and that it was safer and better for them. It was a nice way to like give back and do a little bit of charity while also getting to experience nature. Those are some of my favorite ones. I went on Trail Maintenance when I was a senior girl, and then to go on it as a counselor was just so great. It was so much fun. So I've made so many great friends at Camp Chingachgook, and it means so much to me. It's like a great place. I would really recommend anyone to go there to be a counselor. You don't have to have gone to the camp to be a counselor. So be a counselor. I will definitely send my kids there one day, I hope. It just taught me it helps me grow so much as a person. I became more independent. I learned valuable skills, and I learned good social skills as well. It's so inviting. It's such a welcoming camp, and it just meant a lot to me. So I'm really happy that I got to talk about it. Thank you.